You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Welcome to Houston. Owls taking flight in a clash of styles. FAU's air raid offense hoping to travel. Meanwhile, Rice looking to grind out a win. It's Florida Atlantic and Rice. And welcome upstairs inside Rice Stadium with LaDarren McClain. I'm James West. Lane Smacker Miles will join us here in just a moment. She's downstairs. When you look at these styles of football, you've got this pass-happy FAU offense, Rice ground and pound, so what gives?
Yeah, you know, when you look at this matchup, FAU is trying to get up and down the field as quick as they possibly can and put as many points as they possibly can on the board. When you look at the Rice Owls, they're trying to use the misdirection, keep the ball as long as they can, and really lull you to sleep and maybe go over the top. So this is the ultimate chess match tonight, and it should be fun to watch for sure.
Absolutely. When we look at FAU, their quarterback, Caden Veldkamp, he has a ton of freedom within this offense.
You know, this kid has been playing outstanding football, in my opinion. He's completing 64% of his passes, and he's just one of these physical specimens at 6'6", 236 pounds. He can run the ball, but he also uses his weapons around him very quickly. Coach Kitley said, hey, look, his pocket awareness is getting better by the minute, and he's going to have to do that if this offense blows off tonight.
On the other side for Rice, former receiver turned quarterback Chase Jenkins.
This kid is a dynamic athlete. This kid can run the ball as good as anybody, but he also is a really underrated passer of the football. I really am marveled by his way to pick up this offense so quickly. Look for him to really have a good game tonight.
And for more on the Rice side, we throw it downstairs. Hey, Smacker.
Hey guys, Coach Abel told me he really wants to see his team get off to a faster start. And he said that comes down to two things, preparation and execution. To be more ready, they moved higher competition periods earlier in practice this week. And as far as execution goes, they have to distribute the ball to all three phases of the offense. That means that the running backs are involved. Chase Jenkins makes plays with both his arms and his feet. And the receivers are sharp on the edge in the triple option.
Rice got off to a very slow start a week ago against Rice, rallied to make it a very interesting fourth quarter. They fell 21-13. Meanwhile, FAU, they were neck and neck with one of the best group of 6 teams in the country, Memphis, for 50 minutes until the Tigers pulled away late. Rice set to receive. It's booted into the end zone for the touchback. Chase Jenkins, the Rice quarterback, leads the team with 3 rushing touchdowns. But to your point, LD, he's got 7 explosive plays this season, and 4 have been through the air with 3 on the ground.
And that, to me, is the next level of this offense. You know, James, it's tough for any defense coming in to really kind of get the concepts of the game in a week. You know, you almost have to learn on the fly. And so as a quarterback in this offense, you've got a golden opportunity of the element of surprise. And so when you're misdirection in the backfield and you've got that chance to take it over the top, look out. This kid can certainly do that.
Movement up front. Flags come flying in.
Defense, neutral zone with contact. Number 1, defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That is the big interior tackle, C.J. Doggett, a transfer from Ohio in his first year at FAU.
Yeah, he's going to have to need a good game tonight. This offensive line, technically sound. They may be a little bit undersized, but they are technically good off the punch.
Quentin Jackson getting his first carry. 5'7", 160, a gain of a couple, low center of gravity, extremely quick, and he's a breakaway runner for this Rice attack.
Yeah, and he's kind of had to adjust his game, right? And in the pro-style offense, he's saying, look, I'm trying to hit the home run every single play. But you just saw there on that last run, he's going to have to get some dirty yards, get some tough runs, hit in between the tackles, and then be patient because your opportunity could certainly be there for a big one.
Second down and short for the Owls offense on their opening drive. Jenkins hand the ball off, and he gets planted. It's a loss of a yard. Leon Hart Jr. with the TFL for the Florida Atlantic Owls defense.
Well, you know, this defense at the next level has to be on their game, and that's a good sign right there. Leon Hart Jr. making a play there.
Our impact players to watch when Rice has the football.
And if you look at Quentin Jackson, we talked about him. He's going to be the focal point. Drayden Tickman, in my opinion, is an underrated pass catcher in this offense. He's an elite blocker downfield. It'll be fun to watch tonight.
Third down, going up the middle with Jackson. Real estate. Touchdown, Rice. 68 yards to the house. And Rice strikes first.
I mean, this is probably one of the better clinically blocked up front, James. This offensive line, it's a unique blocking style that is kind of only the brand of Rice football. They've married a bunch of different concepts in what they're trying to do. But I'm telling you, at the point of contact, this goes right up the gut of the defense, and it's blocked to perfection. And right there, Quentin Jackson being patient on the initial drive and then hit a home run there.
Longest touchdown of the season for Quentin Jackson. 7-0 Rice. A quick hitter from the Rice Owls to open up the scoring. On the opening possession, they go 3 plays, 75 yards, took less than 90 seconds off the clock.
Well, it was a classic case of not only the offensive line blocking a clinic up front, I think it really caught this defense off surprise. You know, again, we talked about simulating what the Rice Owls do in the week in practice. Really tough to do in a short week. So, again, kudos to this offense. Great play call by Coach Abel and his staff, and then the execution by the players as well.
Ensuing kick. Into the end zone for a touchback. Florida Atlantic's offense. We see Caden Veldkamp for the first time. Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year a season ago at Western Kentucky. He was actually recruited, although he didn't ever play for Zach Kitley because Kitley had left for Texas Tech. It is Kitley who brought him to Western Kentucky, and now they reconnect here at FAU.
You know, if there's one, advantage to being a coach's kid, you want that player to be the quarterback, right? And Veldkamp, certainly that. And you're going to see a lot of those decision-makings coming out here tonight.
And a first down throw on his first attempt. 14 yards over the middle. Our impact players when Florida Atlantic has the football.
Yeah, and there you go again. Easton Messier and Jamari Sands. Those two guys have to be on their game, and Sands is going to get the bulk of the touches in the backfield. And so look for him to get going often and early. And then defensively for the Rice Owls, Michael Daly up front, and certainly Awe. These guys here, certainly big-time players in that front seven.
Sands trying to pinball to the boundary. Gets submarined by Omari Porter after a gain of 3. Veldkamp's first completion went to Easton Messer for a gain of 14, which extends his streak of making a catch in a game to 22. Second down and 7. First drive of the game for FAU. Veldkamp going through his progressions, hits his tight end for a first down. A completion of 8 yards, and Florida Atlantic is out to midfield.
And that's just a big-time throw right there into traffic, and that's trusting your tight end that he's going to make that play in traffic. And Michael Kirch there, hey, what a nice grab.
Play action after tempo. Looping down the boundary, off the hands of Messer. He was open. Nearly 6. Porter got beat on the coverage. It's second down.
And this is such a good route on the outside by Messer. You don't really see it there, but he gets the defensive back on his hip, and then he stacks him on top, James. And that pass is just a little bit off the mark. But again, it just shows you the ability of this offense. They may dink and dunk at times, but man, they are trying to hit the big one for sure.
And those two won't miss often. A gain of 4 on the handoff. Xavier Terrell, the redshirt sophomore from Wilmington, North Carolina. Him and Sands split the carries almost dead even on the season.
Yeah, and you very well see 3 running backs in the game tonight. I think that's kind of how they've been doing it this season. Now, here's where they need to be really good. This is an offense that, once they get these opportunities, they've been able to capitalize, and so here it is now.
Veldkamp, home run ball, one-on-one. A flag comes in. It was ruled incomplete on the field. Would have been a 39-yard pickup.
Pass interference, number 12, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And the pass interference goes against Kyrie Crump, who was the defensive back on the outside.
Yeah, these defensive backs tonight for the Rice Owls are going to be challenged the entire ball game, and it's on things like this. Now, in my opinion, you kind of got to let them play football in that juncture. Now, they did get a little handsy downfield, and I can kind of see that they called the defensive penalty, but Crump was in certainly good position. That's a big conversion there for the FAU Owls.
The previous play is under review to see if it was potentially a catch down the sideline. It was ruled incomplete. Flag came in for pass interference. So either way, It'll be a win for FAU, but this could be a monster completion. Take another look.
Yeah, here it is. Great job by the receiver to give himself some space. Now, football's going to pull you back a little bit. I mean, I don't see any movement, James, when the ball hits the ground. Watch it here. He secures it. Not a whole lot of wiggle. You can't really tell from that angle, but the other angle you can see not a ton of movement in that football.
And I'm not sure that the ball ever touched the ground. It looked like his forearm was between
underneath
the turf and the football.
Yeah, I think so too. Right?
What a fantastic play by Jay Sean Platt.
And how about that ball placement? You know, you got to put it in that only spot where your guy can make this play. Yeah, I think there's the penalty there. That's what this back judge is calling. You know, Crump grabbing the jersey. Yeah, this is the best angle here. I think that when you see it, you're right, James. That arm is underneath the ball. That's a heck of an effort.
Platt had a big game against Memphis a week ago. I mean, you can see on this first drive why this FAU offense is putting up the type of numbers that they are. They're high octane under head coach Zach Kitley. Their Achilles heel has been silly mistakes, turnovers, penalties, things of that nature. They've been undisciplined. But they can also be fireworks.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're the #1 passing offense in the American, 8th in the country.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld, incomplete pass.
So not enough video evidence to overturn it.
We tried to sell it.
Boy,
we tried.
Tremendous effort. Now the pass interference penalty is still there, so it's a new set of downs for FAU. 1st and 10 from just outside the red area. They're at the 31-yard line. They fake the toss. Veldkamp zips it. He has his tight end barreling into the end zone for a touchdown of 31 yards. Michael Kirch.
Oh boy, this is a pretty play here. Boy, you talk about the eye candy that the Rice Owls can do with their misdirection. Well, here's their version FAU does in the passing game. And the concept is off the charts, and it puts pressure on every single secondary member. And one guy has a misstep, and you've got the tight end running up the seam. What a beautiful play design there.
Rice does it on the ground. Florida Atlantic, the equalizer through the air. 2 different styles, both working.
There it is right there, the big fella up the seam. You better be on your game if you're playing these FAU Owls. High octane offense.
7-all here at Rice Stadium in Houston between Rice and Florida Atlantic. And this venue has really had some iconic moments that tie this stadium to both sports and American history. This stadium hosted Super Bowl, would have been Super Bowl VIII, January 13th, 1974. Miami took down Minnesota. A little over 71,000 fans in attendance for that one, 24-7. And surely the Super Bowl MVP was a quarterback, maybe a running back or a receiver.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Larry Zonka, and Bob Greasy was 6 of 7. 7 pass attempts in the Super Bowl. And they win the game. So incredible history certainly in this stadium.
Cost of a 30-second commercial for that Super Bowl, just a little over 6 figures, $103,000.
Wow. Well, that's well before you and I were born, for sure.
We're tied at 7 here between this Rice Owls team and Florida Atlantic. 2 75-yard scoring drives on each team's opening possession. Fireworks from the get-go. Chase Jenkins and the Rice offense back on the field for the second time. Low snap. Gets it off to Jackson. Jackson, look at him squirt through. Jackson almost had another breakaway touchdown run. That's 19 more for Quentin Jackson.
Now, Quentin Jackson is reaping the benefits of an outstanding read by his quarterback, Chase Jenkins. Quentin Jackson here benefits from that. Here it is. Great read by the quarterback. And then once you read it correctly, it's tough for the defense to be correct at times. Good instincts there. When this offense, you got to have some nice feels. It's just like a pocket passing quarterback. The principles are still the same. You're just going about doing it in different style.
Jackson up the gut. Popped at the line of scrimmage. Much better push that time at the point of attack from the FAU defense. It goes for 3 yards. Marcelin, the stopper.
And see, that's what they want to do offensively, the Rice Owls, because if they can stay just a little bit ahead of the chains and stay on schedule, well, now it puts this defense in a predicament to where they're going to have to defend sideline to sideline. And if we see it at times, even up the middle, they've been able to be gashed against.
On second down, Jackson again. 2 more, making it 3rd and about 5. Now, Rice has struggled on 3rd downs this season, only converting 35%, and that is last in the American.
Yeah, this defense of FAU about 4th in the American Conference on 3rd down defense. Obviously, something's got to give here. Something's got to change tonight in this game.
Third and 5. Trying to stretch it to the outside. Gain of 2 for the other running back, Dalen Alexander, his first carry of the game. Makes it 4th and 3. It was Dylan Williams, the transfer from UTEP and North Texas, making the tackle.
And give an assist to Tyler Stolsky, too, number 44 on defense. He had to scrape over the top, and if he doesn't get there, James, at the very last, I think this is an easy pickup on first down, or excuse me, for the first down on 3rd down.
On 4th down and 3, Jenkins keeps it. Hit. He did not get there. Williams and Hart combine on the tackle. It's a gain of 2, but they needed 3, and it's a turnover on downs.
Coach Kitley told us this week, it's a big week for these defensive backs. And you're seeing Dylan Williams come up and run support and make a really distinctive play here. Here it is. It's a quarterback keeper. He reads it well. But that right there, that little slip, and then you see Williams come in there to make the play. That's a big defensive stand, because now you're going to give a possession to the offense right at about midfield. And we saw how electric and how explosive they can be as well.
Rice has not put it in the air yet. 8 plays from scrimmage, all on the ground. Meanwhile, Florida Atlantic takes over 1st and 10 from just beyond its 45-yard line. We'll check in with Smacker after this play. 1st and 10. And they pitch it over the middle. Out to midfield, complete to Dominic Henry, the transfer from BYU. Now Veldkamp has connected on 4 of his first 5 passes. It's 2nd down and 5. Tempo from the Owls. Play fake, they zip it to the boundary. Messer dancing out of bounds, a gain of 7. Backyard football, 2 completions, 1st down.
Right now they've got the Rice Owls defense chasing, and this is a defense that does not play a ton of man defense. They like to play some zones and try to come up and tackle underneath, but you look at Veldkamp and company on offense, they will gladly take those throws that the defense is giving to them.
They toss it out to Terrell, and he gets 6-7 yards to make it a manageable 2nd down. For more on this FAU passing attack, we go downstairs to Smacker.
Hey guys, when I talked to Caden Veldkamp earlier this week about he and the offensive goals against Rice tonight, he said they need to be more consistent in not turning the ball over. That was improved last week with 0 turnovers versus Memphis. And beyond that, they need to score in the red zone. Last week they kicked 2 field goals, but so far so good on that.
They're 1 for 1. 3rd down after that incompletion. To Smacker's point, thank you, Smacker. The first 3 weeks of the season, nobody had more turnovers in all of college football than this team right here, but then nearly a clean sheet against Memphis.
Yeah, and you know what? You need to find something even in a loss, and it was one of those things that can really ignite you in a week of practice. We've seen it come a little bit to what we've come to see last week into tonight's game, and so far so good for this team.
3rd and 4. Blitzer gets clean. It's complete. No gain on the play. Ty Morris, the sideline to sideline, rangy linebacker on the tackle.
Yeah, this front 7 and this defense is really good. You know, the front 4, in my opinion, is one of the better fronts in the American Conference. But then you get to the linebackers with Andrew Alway and Ty Morris. These guys can run.
4th down and 4, call it 5 for FAU. They're going for it at the Rice 38-yard line. Twist up front. Veldkamp. Pretty pass down the boundary. It's a touchdown. Dropped it in the bucket.
Woo. Hey, that's one of the better throws that you're going to see all weekend. I'm not kidding. That is on the money. 4th down, first and foremost, right? I mean, you just need 5 yards. But to have the guts to say, I'm going to put it here and let my guy win is outstanding, because the coverage is outstanding. But that pass had to be where it was in order for that play to be successful. Well, that's outstanding football right there.
Fade touchdown. Assad Wasim on the receiving end, his 4th receiving touchdown of the season. And FAU has grabbed their first lead. The point after is true. It is 14-7. Florida Atlantic trying to make a statement on the road.
Well, when you want to play man, you better get up there and knock the ball down, because this quarterback is hot tonight. And Wasim says, I oblige. I'm getting in the end zone on this one.
Wasim just caught a career-long, a 38-yard touchdown pass from Caden Veldkamp. 6 plays, 54 yards, less than 2 minutes off the stadium clock. And Florida Atlantic has their first lead here in Houston.
And that was a thing of beauty. And you're talking about a quarterback putting the ball where he wants it. Veldkamp did it there, off the charts. This offense is in a good mode right now. Now you have to respond. If you're Rice, you're here at home. You've been very good in this stadium in the last few seasons. Now it's time to get this thing going.
Yeah, Rice here at home, 5-3 all time in games against teams from within the American. They've won 3 straight conference home games. They are better here at home.
Yeah, got a chance to go 3-1 for the first time since 2014 in conference play. It's a pretty good little deal they've got going on with Coach Abel here and his staff and his program.
Coach Abel known for the gun option attack. His Davidson team led all of FCS in rushing a season ago. Jenkins looking for a cutback lane. He's smothered after a gain of 5. Marcelman has his second tackle.
Yeah, James, that's a really good job by this defense. Number 26, Jaden Sweeney. He's coming down from that strong safety spot. It kind of put Jenkins in a little bit of a bind where he wasn't really sure if I should pitch it, should I cut it back. Now, they still made a nice little chunk of yardage on first down, but that play had bigger potential, but credit Sweeney to make the play there.
Alexander bottled up, no gain. And it's 3rd down and 6 for Rice.
Yeah, and I think that's the defensive strategy, right? I think you just have to muddy up the lanes. You just have to get in the way. If you can't make a tackle, just put your body in the way. And here it is. Watch the defense kind of converge. You just have a bunch of bodies muddying up what they're trying to do offensively. That's how you can slow it down. If you can't get one guy there, let's just get a bunch of us in one spot.
3rd down and 5. Rice is 1 for 2 on 3rd downs here in the early going. Jenkins, snap throw, and he completes his first attempt of the ball game. It goes for 8 yards to move the chains, reeled in by Dickman on the outside.
And when we talked to Coach Abel, he said, hey, I'm confident in our passing game now. And that right there shows you a little bit of that maturation process in your young quarterback. But we talked about Dickman being a, pivotal force in this offense. That's a great job raising up, getting them a play and making a first down.
Jenkins pulls it back, late pitch, trying to step out of a tackle, and then Eric Brantley Jr. decleats the wideout, Aaron Turner. It's a loss of a yard and the second TFL for the FAU defense.
Progress to stop before the ball came loose.
Now, if you're a defense, this is what you want. You want that quarterback pitching the ball early because then there's no other threat, right? And if that quarterback can keep it, he's always a threat to pitch it. But look at the team speed, the pursuit, and that's one of the things that jumps off the page when you watch this team. Even Coach Abel said, hey, they're big, they're fast. We got to do a good job up front.
Jackson slices right into the belly of a defender. A gain of just a yard. Leon Hart has been all over the field for the FAU defense. Sets up 3rd and long.
James, he's almost unblockable. And you get past the first line of defense, which is the defensive line, but then you got to deal with number 6. And number 6 is playing at a level right now that is pretty impressive because he's unblockable.
He's a transfer from Marshall, matched his season total in his FAU debut at 12 tackles. 3rd down and long. Jenkins, it's broken up on the boundary. 4th down. Wendell Phillord from safety to linebacker on the coverage.
Yeah, it's just good coverage, and that's not the strength of the offense, right? When it's a known passing down, when the defense knows you're going to pass, now you're playing into the strength of the FAU Owls. And then just that combination of those two dynamics just goes in the favor of FAU. And it looks like we got a punt here.
Alex Bacchetta on to blast it away. Messer back deep. Low line drive. This is returnable. Messer starting tremendous patience. Then he accelerates. Slams the gas and works his way to the Rice 40-yard line. 39-yard return.
Well, I'm always leery when that punt comes in low like a pass. It allows this return to set up more efficiently. And you can see the patience by Messer. He allows the wall to set up, and then once he saw a seam, he kicked it into the next gear. That's the little attention to details, even on special teams, that you can tilt the field back the other way and get the momentum back for your offense.
That is a veteran returner, redshirt junior from Louisville, Kentucky. 1st and 10, FAU. Leading by a touchdown, starting this drive in plus territory. Terrell. Gain of 9 on the ground. The quick hitter up the middle. Porter makes the tackle.
Yeah, good blocking up front. You got Scarlett Jean, the left guard there, big number 66. Did a great job of taking care of the defensive linemen, and even Coach Kitley said is probably playing the best football up front of the offensive linemen, and that's where they ran there.
Veldkamp. Miscommunication on the route. Nobody in the neighborhood. And it's 3rd down and short, but you can take a shot on 2nd and 2. Sets up 3rd and 2 for the Owls.
Well, you absolutely can. You look in your chops as a quarterback, here it is. You got one receiver. They're trying to do a little bit of a kind of a wheel route / scissors where they're crossing. One guy on the inside is doing the crossing and he's going upfield in a wheel route, and they just were not on the same page there.
3rd and short. Some window dressing, and then they hand it off and move the chains. A gain of 4. Xavier Terrell, the ball carrier. Fresh set of downs for FAU. Play fake. Pocket holding up all day for Veldkamp. Caught, but he's out of bounds. Dom Henry on the receiving end.
Anytime you see that official throw his hat, that's an indication the offensive player goes out. He cannot be the first person to touch the ball in that instance there. That's a little bit better job by this defense to really squeeze tight when they do play man coverage. It's a man-free coverage. They've got a safety over the top, but they're playing man coverage underneath. Better job there by Rice.
2nd down and 10. The fastball's intercepted off the carom. Tips lead to picks. And Rice has our game's first takeaway.
Well, James, this play is open. Here it is. Keep your eye on number 4 in the back, Marcus Williams. He's there. It's an overthrown pass. And then he just tips it to Peyton Stevenson. But this is the worst throw of the night by Veldkamp. He's been on point, but that pass got away because Messer was open underneath. But that's what you need sometimes on defense. You need the offense to give you a break, and then you take advantage of it by getting the ball, taking it the other way.
5th takeaway for this Rice defense on the season. First interception for Peyton Stevenson.
And that's the one thing in this offense. Although he has 8 touchdown passes, that was his 8th interception on the season.
Alexander between the tackles. Fighting for extra yardage, gets 2 with forward progress, and it's 2nd down and 8. The true freshman, Josh Roberts, and Phil Lord combine on the tackle.
47, DeAndre Harden, junior, picks up 3 for the Owls.
The turnover margin coming into this one, -9 for Florida Atlantic. Rice +2, a huge discrepancy.
Yeah, when you're -9, it's tough to play against anybody. You're not taking care of the ball. Now, they did just do it there again. And Rice, with the way they play, it makes them very, very tough to beat at times.
This run will set up 3rd and manageable. It'll be 3rd and 2, 3rd and short after a 5-yard gain. Florida Atlantic has the most turnovers in the country. They have turned it over a bunch. A ton of yards. This offense for FAU, explosive but risky at times. And Rice trying to take advantage on this ensuing drive. 3rd and 1. Rice is 1 for 3 tonight on 3rd downs. DeAndre Hardman, the freshman, got the handoff. No gain on the play. It's 4th down.
What an incredible job up front.
Tackled that time by number 6.
Wow. I mean, Nashawn Barber, my goodness. Big number 9. I mean, he is just a load. You know, he's 6'3", 310 pounds, and he doesn't move. And I don't know if that was a misread by Jenkins or not, because there was some action if he takes the ball and stays on track with the option game outside, but they get the 1st down nonetheless. But man, that was a great play inside by Barber.
Yeah, they re-spot the ball, and it's good enough for the 1st down. It's 1st and 10. Jenkins, pitch out, Turner, he's a burner, and he gets chopped down for a loss. Phil Lord's been all over the field, his 2nd TFL, a loss of 3. It's 2nd and 13. When we come back for the start of the 2nd quarter, already 3 scores between these two teams after 1. It's Florida Atlantic 14, Rice 7 from Houston. 14-7, Florida Atlantic leading Rice. Started the second quarter, but the time of possession, LD, in that first frame, it was Florida Atlantic with the ball twice as long as Rice.
Yeah, and if you're Rice, that's kind of your game plan, right? That's what you want to do. You want to have that extra defender, if you will, by playing keep away from FAU's offense.
Second down and 12. Rice with the ball, sidestepping a would-be sacker. They loop it, incomplete over the middle.
Jenkins' pass is incomplete.
Owls in the backfield, and again, it was Wendell Phillord, the outside linebacker. We have called his name a ton already.
Yeah, he's just all over the field. Great recognition, but this is a good decision by Jenkins. He's under pressure. That's a tough pass right there from Micah Barnett to pick that thing in. And yeah, Phillord has been all over the field. He's kind of that hybrid player. You know, you talked about him used to being a former linebacker, but man, that guy has got the athleticism to cover a ton of ground.
He's an anchor, a returner for FAU, had over 40 tackles last year. Jackson, gain of 3 on the ground, maybe 4 to set up 4th down, and Long and Rice will have to punt for the second time.
You know, when I see a play like that, my eyes automatically go to Chase Jenkins on whether or not he should have pulled the ball or given it, and the body language can tell you more times than not he knows he probably should have pulled that and at least gotten the ball outside on the perimeter. But credit to FAU, James. They're doing something to make him want to give it if the read game is certainly there in the triple option.
You were a quarterback in a triple option system in high school. What is it like from that position in terms of your processing speed as Messer gets cut down after a short gain? We've got to pay some bills, so there is a flag down. Pause in just a moment. But LD, the processing speed for the quarterback to operate this offense, I can't imagine.
It's bang, bang, right? And it's just like you're processing if you're doing a 5-7 step drop. You've got to make that decision by the time in the passing game, by the time that back foot plants and you got to get the ball out. Well, it's almost the same speed, maybe even a little bit quicker.
Number
because
32,
you're reading these guys in front of you.
Here's the kick. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Mark that off. We'll come back and talk about it later. But it is instantaneously speed quarterback. It's fun to watch these guys tonight.
FAU by a score.
Unlock more sports for one unbeatable price. Get unrivaled coverage all year long. Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle.
Coming out of the timeout, FAU first and 10.
Early second quarter, he's LaDarren McClain. I'm James Westling. Smacker Miles on the sidelines. 14-7 FAU, their first possession of this second quarter. Veldkamp, quick throw to the boundary, and Messer scampers out of bounds for a gain of 7.
You know, I love watching this offense because they attack you in so many ways. They attack space, James, and that's what Coach Kintley said. I want my best players on the field, and whatever that may look like, we are trying to get our best athletes in space, and they're doing a good job of that tonight.
Gain of 2 on the ground. Xavier Terrell's been their primary running back in this contest. That was his 6th attempt. 3rd and 1. Terrell again, trying to dance outside. Has the first down, got just enough to move the chains.
Yeah, Ty Morris almost got there to make the play in time, but that's a pretty good tough run inside by Terrell, and all they need to do is keep picking up first downs. They can continue with that momentum, and then once they find the defensive set that they like to attack, that's when they put the gas pedal down. They start going pretty quick after that point.
That was the second 3rd down conversion on 3 tries for FAU. Veldkamp keeping it himself, loses a yard. Ty Morris with the tackle for loss.
Veldkamp's such an underrated athlete. Watch the convergence of blue jerseys here. That's good team defense because he is a good enough athlete, and his size, he does pose a problem when he gets to the outside on the perimeter of the defense.
6'6", 236 pounds. Blitz, snap throw. Ball popped out late. It's ruled incomplete. No fumble. Marcus Williams was on the coverage, breaking the ball loose.
James, these defensive backs have been playing well on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. Watch number 4, Marcus Williams. He comes flying downhill. That's outstanding. If you're going to play man, and if your guys are going to bring pressure up front, you better get there first of all, but those defensive backs got to make a play.
3rd and 11. Flag is out. Could be a free play. Veldkamp humps it. Hauled in. Right at the marker. A gain of 12. Jay-Sean Platt on the receiving end.
Oh, that's a heck of a grab by Platt. My goodness. That was pretty acrobatic. And it's a good sign, too, because these guys' quarterback scramble rules, they're coming back to the quarterback. Let's see what this flag is.
There are fouls by both teams. Holding, number 57, offense. Offside, number 26, defense. This foul's offset. Repeat 3rd down.
Platt has made 2 highlight reel catches, and neither of them counted because of penalty flags.
He's like, what I got to do here, man, to make these things count?
Replaying 3rd down and 11. Draw play. And Terrell to the 29, a gain of 4.
I'm a little shocked by that, James, because the way this offense vertically has been passing the ball, I figured they'd take another shot, but it looked like they caught the defense, in my opinion, in a softer coverage and thought maybe they could squeeze a run. But hey, credit to the Rice Owls. They did what they needed to do. Get off the field on 3rd down, give the ball back to your offense.
That may have been the most conservative play call of the season from Zach Kintley.
Yeah.
Bouncing off a tackle, Thompson. The second wave will rope him down. No gain on the return. Florida Atlantic is a program with a ton of pedigree and prestige. Zach Kintley was hired after leading Texas Tech's offense to a top 10 finish. On that side of the ball, he is the youngest head coach in FBS at 33. But some notable head coaches at FAU. Schnellenberger from 01, he got the program off the ground to 2011. Then Lane Kiffin won 11 games here. Willie Taggart's a big name. Tom Herman the last couple of seasons. Boca's a special place.
I bet. I bet it is. I want to go. I want to go to Boca.
Jenkins on the keeper. His best run of the game, good for 9 yards. And that keeps Rice on schedule or even ahead of schedule.
100%. And that might have been a situation where Coach Abel says, hey, regardless of what we call, you pull it. You get to the perimeter because we've got a chance. And he called that play to the wide side of the field. That puts a lot of stress on the defense. And the pitch race relationship between the quarterback and the trailing pitch man was outstanding. But good decision by Jenkins to keep it and get upfield.
Second down and a yard.
Oh,
Jackson.
oh,
Shots fired in the hole. He did get enough for the first down, but he paid for it. Dylan Williams laying the wood.
hey, this is a physical game. FAU is coming to play on the defense. Here it is. Bang, you got to run up in there. You got to be tough as a running back. Nowhere really to go. But once again, Dylan Williams all over the field. Him and Phil Lord, and we talked about Leon Hart. Those three guys making an impact in this game early defensively.
Jackson over 100 yards with that 2-yard gain. Jenkins, 2-on-2. Plows ahead for a gain of 5. Williams again the stopper, cuts the down and distance in half, sets up second down and 5 to gain.
And you want to do these types of plays offensively. It's just like a passing offense. They want to throw some passes downfield to loosen up the defense. Well, this loosens up the defense when you get to the perimeter. Give them something to think about in defending this offense, and then you can come back inside with the body blows, hand the ball inside to Jackson and company.
Jackson trying to stretch it sideline to sideline, and he's brought down laterally by Chris Tooley and Leon Hart. No gain.
And I want to see the tackle chart at the end of this game between Leon Hart, Dylan Williams, and Phil Lord. I want to see it because they are making every play right now. And I know it takes the other 8 guys on defense to help them get there, but they are flashing the most right now. And it is fun to watch this defense fly around.
And FAU told us to counter the triple option, they were going to keep it relatively simple in terms of their play calls, try to focus on their communication and be assignment sound. Jenkins running for his life, and he's body slammed by Eric Brantley Jr., his second sack of the season.
Now this defensive line says, okay, all you guys on the back end, I've had enough of y'all making plays. Now it's time for us to do something up front. And here it is. He just doesn't see the tight end quick enough, but this defense flying around all day, James, making another play for FAU.
WWE style. 4th and 16 after the 10-yard sack. Messer signals for a fair catch and reels it in at the FAU 28 as we head to a timeout. Florida Atlantic leading by a score here on the road.
Well, James, this defense had to meet the task of defending the triple option, and by goodness, they have done a great job. The team speed was already there, but the physicality at the point of contact has really shook the Rice Owls a little bit in their game. But man, they are getting to the football play after play, and the discipline is off the charts, and that's what you have to be when you play a team like Rice.
And that is what was lacking for FAU defensively. They have the dudes, they've got the athletes, the speed, to your point. It was the discipline, but so far flawless. And the big three of Phil Lord, Williams, and Leon Hart have 12 combined tackles. A flag comes out, and they will blow this play down. It's a false start, and that'll go against FAU.
False start, from 73, offense. Backyard penalty, first down.
It's the right guard, Alex Cabbage.
Yeah, he's the old head of the group. He's kind of that guy that
Place at the game clock
told us that he kind of leans on for
7:44.
feedback, kind of the pulse of the team. And
Thank you.
kind of uncharacteristic mistake there by the old guard there.
He's been through 3 coaching changes. He has stayed at FAU throughout his entire career. 1st and 15, trying to stretch it with the speed of Terrell, and they throw a blanket on him and drive him out of bounds. The Rice defense, a loss of 2, spearheaded by Marcus Williams.
Goes that man again, number 4 in blue. You better keep an eye on where he is. And this is what this defense can do. Here it is. They're outnumbered up front, but the pursuit and then recognizing where the ball is, and then now you've got all the 11 guys running to the football, and they do that absolutely well. One of the better defenses in the American, and right there it shows you that this team can play physical also.
Rice top 5 in the American in total defense, but Messer is wide open.
Pass complete to number 8.
Tossed out of bounds inside the 20, good for 52 yards. He was wide open.
Now they just lose track of him here. This is a great job by the offensive line to give the quarterback time and allow this play to develop. And Messer's the one guy on offense that you have to have somebody with him at all times, because he is going to slip out, and he runs a route there beautifully, and great execution.
1st and 10. Twisting, and then Veldkamp going down on his own power to avoid a big hit. That's a little thing. That's just a veteran play to know that he's going to get decleated. He goes down to the turf and takes the loss on his own.
Yeah, live to play the next down. And, you know, you're not going to get any medals for being a hero early in this game in the first half. And so this offense has found something at times. They've been able to get some things deeper. They just got to stick to the plan here as they get closer into the red zone now.
Veldkamp was voted a unanimous team captain, the only guy on the team that got every single vote. Hands it off, nowhere to go. Giving up some ground. Caden Shields Dutton, the sophomore from Orlando. Forward progress gave him a yard on the carry.
Yeah, here it is. You just see these guys are just trying defensively cover up the hole and make sure they don't get anybody loose out in the next level. Good communication up front by this defense.
It's Tony Ayenwinyu on the tackle. A long 3rd down for FAU, who's 3 for 7 on 3rd so far. Trying to set up the screen on the outside. Assad was seen, tugged out of bounds. Around the 17-yard line, good for 6 or 7. And it'll bring out the field goal unit for FAU. We'll see Garrison Smith try and boot one through.
Yeah, pretty good job there defensively to at least force this field goal attempt. That's exactly where you want it for a right-footed kicker on that right hash. You can just kind of hook that thing in there.
34-yard attempt. Smith sneaks it through and remains perfect on the season. He has not missed a kick. The 34-yard field goal makes it Florida Atlantic 17, Rice 7 here in Houston. The American on ESPN Plus is home to 40 plus college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, it's super easy. Visit stream.espn.com. After a 34-yard field goal, 6 plays, 54 yards, took 3 minutes off the clock. We'll see Rice's offense. Jackson and Thompson back deep to return. Jackson was 3rd in the country in kick return average a season ago. He is electrifying if he gets a chance, and he will here. Out to the 25, gets creamed after a 23-yard return. What needs to happen for Rice to get things moving offensively?
Well, I think they've got to change up what they're doing on first down. Now I think they need to try that vertical passing game off the play action looks, because yes, they're getting 2 and 3 yards on first down, but then they find themselves in predicaments a little bit behind the chains, and now the defense is doing what they want to do. But I think this is the situation here where you open this thing up just a touch and see if you can get a man-to-man matchup on the outside.
1st and 10, and a 10-point lead for FAU. Jenkins, he'll pitch it forward. Dickman, sideline to sideline coverage. FAU's defense has tightened the screws, just a gain of 2.
Great football play right there. Boy, that is outstanding. Watch the first defender here. Watch 23. He's going to set the edge. You hear coaches talk about that. And when he can set the edge, that allows the rest of the defense to come in and clean it off. Jaden Sweeney, he's putting in a nice spot there as we got an owl from FAU on the ground here.
That was the first. It goes down as a pass attempt because he tossed it forward. The first down pass attempt for Rice here tonight. It was a 2-yard loss, and it's 2nd down and a long 11.
That's your guy, right? That's the guy that you got to have back there. You go pretty deep, too. 23 on defense, obviously, Damon Allen. They've got some deep defensive backs in the game, and right there, that's the leader of the pack, number 4 there.
Jenkins, lock and load, reeled in close to the 40. And he hits Braylon Walker, the team's top returning wide receiver from a season ago, for 14 yards.
Now Jenkins takes a shot at the end of this play. Great play design. Watch the end of this. Bang, right there. Boy, as you see, Kamari Johnson just absolutely run through Chase Jenkins, but that just shows you how tough this kid is, James, to stand in there and deliver an absolute strike.
He added some weight in the offseason. He's kind of bounced back and forth between quarterback and wide receiver in his years here at Rice. Was a dual threat quarterback in high school, had ridiculous numbers. Plowing ahead for a gain of 5. On the ground, they go with Dalen Alexander and Marcelin and CJ Doggett on the tackle.
So now they're going to get in that little area to where it's under 4 minutes in the game. They're not built for tempo, but now you're going to see the play get in and out of the huddle a little bit quicker. And that was a good gain on first down, because now you open up the playbook, so to speak, for them against this defense.
Up the gut goes Alexander. Gain of just a couple. Outside of that one Jackson run, it has been tough sledding on that dive play. FAU's clamped it down.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of Rice, you can't get disheartened. That's the game plan, right? You're going to have to be tough. It's not going to look pretty at times, but you have to stay the course, because you can bust a big one again as you start to wear this defense down.
3rd and 3.
Got to pick up this first down here. You don't want to punt the ball back. Still plenty of time in the game for FAU to add points.
Alexander goes tearing up the middle to get the first down. Or is he a little bit short? Where did that knee go down? Hart again on the tackle.
Well, it's always down to the hit lineman if he's going to mark it with his left foot or is he going to mark it with his right foot. There's enough with the first down here.
That's a big conversion to keep FAU's offense off the field. And it sends us to the 2-minute timeout with FAU leading 17-7.
2-minute timeout.
Rice on the march, trying to put some points on the board before the half. We're at the 2-minute timeout, and here's what's coming up at the half. We will have the plays of the week in the American Conference, some first half highlights, and all the numbers from the first 2 quarters. 2-minute offense from the Rice Owls with Darren McLean. I'm James Westling, Smacker Miles on the sidelines. A 2-possession game, but Rice with the football, looking for a lane.
My goodness.
And Jackson tattooed by Kamari Johnson.
Oh, man. It's almost like the defense is in the huddle of the offense. They are anticipating every single thing that Rice wants to do offensively. And, man, these guys flat out, when they recognize the play, James, they are running to the football with a head of steam and blowing up the ball carrier.
Ball pass from FAU. It's been all on the ground for Rice tonight. Contrasting styles. Pitch out Turner. Now he was a burner. And Turner slices back to get inside the 40, down to the 39-yard line. A first down run.
Yeah, good execution here by Rice. And this is what the defense technically wants to do. They want the ball out of the quarterback's hands, but you got to have help. And the help was not there. Credit to the receivers on the outside, blocking up the alley. And that was a nice gain there by Turner.
Good for 14 yards. Alexander knifing ahead for a gain of 6. Macon Jackson, I should say. Johnson and Marcelin combine on the tackle.
Timeout.
With 2nd down and 4, and Rice calls a timeout to stop the clock with 65 seconds before the half. This is a big drive in terms of momentum going into the locker room.
Yeah, I think so. And it looks like Rice has found something a little bit too. And again, when you can stretch this defense out on the perimeter, it will loosen them up in the inside as well. And now we're kind of seeing them attack outside, then coming inside. And so, yeah, I agree. They got to get some points here because you don't want to get too far behind and have to play chase the rest of the game, because that's just not what they're built for, is playing from behind.
And Scott Abel in his first year had Rice off to a 3-1 mark, their best start since '06 under Todd Graham. What do you think about what he was telling us, the type of athlete that he recruits here at Rice? High academic standards, very similar to what he went through at Davidson and Washington and Lee before that.
You know, it's the high IQ of players because he can inundate them with information. He can put a lot on these players. They retain it well, and then they can execute it come Saturday. It's a nice recipe that he seems to embrace, and not a lot of coaches can say that. It's impressive to hear him talk about it.
And he has won everywhere he's been. On 2nd and 4, Jackson runs into a wall, pushes the pile forward to somehow get 2 yards on the carry. Clock is ticking. It's 3rd and 1.
Well, that was a tough inside run there by Jackson. He is going to need some ice afternoon in this game because he is really running tough tonight.
Over 100 yards. Jackson again squirts through the first wave to get inside the 30 down to the 25-yard line, and Rice will use their second timeout. They still have one in their pocket with 39 seconds to go before half.
Well, you feel like you're in reasonable field goal range right now. You're looking at probably, what, a 42-yard field goal attempt, if anything. But now you've got to see if you can maybe get some chunk plays, maybe get inside the red zone, because you want to have a chance at a touchdown. And you don't want to be too conservative in the sense that you just run the clock out and you have to kick a field goal. You got to still think touchdown here, James, but at the same time, you got to be smart about it. And that's certainly what they're talking about on the sideline. Now, if you're FAU, now you just got to make the tackle. Keep everything underneath. Don't let anybody get behind you, and make sure we still communicate and run to the ball.
Rice has been very efficient inside the 20 when they get down to the red zone. 92% scoring rate.
That's pretty good.
11 for 12.
That's pretty good.
39 seconds before the half. New set of downs for Rice. Trailing by 10. Low snap. Jenkins to put it up. One-on-one. Turner's out there. Off his chest and incomplete.
I like that. I like Turner one-on-one. Now, what he could help his quarterback do is try to get a little bit more on top of the defender instead of drifting. See how he drifts there? And if he could kind of keep himself into play and then try to snag it, he may have a better chance of trying to get his feet. But that's a tough pass to catch there as you're trying to get the ball and think about your feet as well.
Turner has played in 45 career games at the FBS level between UConn, Cincinnati, and now Rice. 2nd and 10. Deep in the play clock, they get it off. Jenkins back to pass, spins it. Incomplete. Wanted Turner again. 3 white jerseys in the neighborhood, but there is a flag out. Initial indication is this could be against the offense.
Well, he definitely, the headlinesman certainly pointed that
Pass
way.
interference, number 81, offense. 15-yard penalty.
Wow.
Repeat second down.
That's huge. All right, James, you tell me what's going on here. That flag comes in behind actually where the ball is. I don't know if Braylon Walker was engaged with someone or not, but the flag comes in well away from the football.
Yeah, they said it was on Walker, number 81, but he barely entered our picture.
Yeah.
The tail end of that throw. That penalty could have been a drive killer, 15-yard mark off. Trick play. Jenkins. FAU was ready for it, and it's nearly intercepted. Nobody fooled on the back end. Williams was all over the receiver.
There he is again, all over the field. He's just sitting back there reading the quarterback's eyes. Here it is, perfect view. He's not fooled by what's going on in the back, and he identifies the first threat of a receiver. And once he does that, he locates the football. And that's the only thing, in my opinion, he's done wrong tonight, not catch that interception. Everything else, he is on point. Fun football player to watch.
It's Dylan Williams, the UTEP transfer. 3rd and 25, down to 15 seconds before the half. Pitch out Jackson, and Jackson is twisted out of bounds around the 30. A gain of 11. Back in field goal range for Enoch Goda. His season long is 49. This would be about 47.
Yeah, that's exactly what that play was, just to get it to a reasonable range. Now they still have an opportunity here with one timeout to, no, 4th down. They're going to go ahead and go for it. I was looking on the sideline. They hadn't changed the sticks yet.
4th and 14, 12 seconds. And Rice will burn their final timeout. Check on personnel, get everybody lined
30
up
seconds.
for what will be about a 47-yard field goal to try and trim it to a one-score game at the half.
He's definitely got the leg. It's just one of these things. He may have to kick it a touch lower than what he normally has, but he's got plenty of leg. Perfect side of the field. It's big 3 points. I think you take this momentum into the halftime locker and say, hey, we have some things that we could have cleaned up to play better. We got to credit FAU for playing well on defense. You can cut this to a one-score game here. I think Rice still has to feel pretty good about the outcome of this game.
.47-yard attempt. Laces are spun. Goda. He pushed it. No good. A win for FAU on the road, leading 17-7 with 8 seconds to go before the half.
Yeah, no doubt about the leg or the power. It's a little bit offline.
His 3rd miss of the season, but his first miss from within 50 yards.
Yeah, you got to think about that pass interference penalty by Rice. That killed a lot of the momentum, and it made that field goal a little bit tougher than what it probably should have been.
Final play of the half. They set up the screen for Messer. And Veldkamp and Messer. The ball was jarred loose. Bouncing free. There's no time on the clock. It was recovered by Ty Morris. He wrenched it loose. He recovered it. And it sends us to the locker room with FAU leading Rice 17-7. What a half for the Road Owls FAU to have a 10-point lead.
Yeah, they brought the intensity, and the tone was set by their defense, in my opinion. And the offense has done just enough, right? They've been able to hit some big plays, and I think it's going to be fun. These halftime adjustments are always good.
Smackers with Coach downstairs.
Coach, how do you convert some more of those 3rd downs to get the offense going?
Yeah, it's just hard right now. The bottom line is you got to execute better, right? You got to make a few plays when you have the opportunity to. And, it's tough sledding at times for us right now. And a lot of young guys out there on the field, and we just got to find a way to get it done.
How do you get some pressure on Veldkamp and minimize their pass game?
Well, I think that's a big question. I think that's tough. We knew it would be a lot of catch and release, but we'll continue to get after it. Dial up some pressure, and it'll help if we can put some drives together, keep him off the field.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Smacker. That is Rice coach Scott Abel. His team still within striking distance, but for the 2nd week in a row, they find themselves down at the half. It's Florida Atlantic 17, Rice 7 here at intermission from Rice Stadium in Houston. We're at halftime here in Houston with tonight's matchup featuring Florida Atlantic and Rice. Time now to send it to Studio A at the American Conference. Take it away, Maria Tribal Peace.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribal Peace. It was really tough picking top plays this week because, oh my goodness, did our student athletes show out. But ultimately, here's what we went with. We'll start with Charlotte women's soccer. They're all tied up with North Texas. Evie Craven will have the ball. Fancy footwork, using her left foot, then striking it to the back of the net. I love creativity, and that's what Tulsa brought against Tulane. Keep your eye on the football. Baylor Hayes eventually gets it, fires the ball to Grayson Tempest, who makes the catch. It's been fun watching North Texas and their offense this entire season, but in particular, it's been fun watching Caleb Hawkins because he can do things like this. Dodging multiple defenders, then he's going to use his strength to push through and fall into the end zone. We talked about creativity, so how about we also highlight some sheer strength on the soccer pitch? That is Humphrey Doe striking that ball. We have to watch it again just to see how far out he actually is. Oh my goodness. Tulsa wasn't the only football team with some tricks up their sleeve. East Carolina brought some as well. That looked like it was going to be a field goal, but no, it's a fake. Kyler Pearson runs it in for a touchdown. If you see a top play this week, make sure you use the hashtag #AmericanTopPlays on social. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
It's halftime between Florida Atlantic and Rice here at Rice Stadium. 17-7 FAU. Coming up next, we'll take you through all the highlights and the stats from the first half. That's next here in Houston. FAU leading Rice 17-7 here at the half in Houston. Welcome upstairs here at Rice Stadium with LaDarren McLean. I'm James Westling. We've got Smacker Miles downstairs on the sidelines. All right, the FAU defense, which really, we didn't think that would be the big story coming in, but they have been nails here in the first half.
They've been fantastic. And the challenge coming into the unknown, right? We talked about the preparation in a week for a triple option is very difficult. Credit to the coaching staff for getting his guys ready and then giving them the opportunity just to play fast and physical. And that, to me, has been the difference in the first half.
Fast, physical, and free. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. The FAU offense, the quarterback Veldkamp got him on the board early.
Yeah, this offense really put stress on this defense, and that's a great route and catch by Michael Kirch, the tight end. But then he gets going with his guy Messer, and that pass right there to Asit Wasim in the end zone was fantastic. One of the better throws you'll see. And then this is just scheming up the defense. to get their best receiver out in the open and taking advantage of that. There it is, Quentin Jackson. We expected this to be early and often in this game, and easily the biggest play of the game for the Rice Owls on offense, right up the seam. And then here it is again, getting him on the perimeter to where he could really attack this defense with his running abilities. And I thought this was one of the better plays here, getting the ball to the outside, off the pitch, and really stretching the defense wide.
Two very different styles and two very different first half stats. The total yards about even, but all rush for Rice, all pass for FAU.
Yeah, and you see the 2 turnovers there by FAU. Still plagued by it, but it's not hurting them, so to speak, in this game with 17-7 lead. But the time of possession certainly tilted back the other way for Rice. They just have to find a way to be more efficient on first down and then really convert on third to get points on the board.
The second half is coming up next. 10-point lead for FAU here in Houston. Welcome back to Houston, where Florida Atlantic leads Rice 17-7. Smacker Miles caught up with Zach Kidley, the FAU coach.
How can Veltkamp in the offense stay effective?
Yeah, it's self-inflicted wounds. We get a big first down on 3rd and long. We had a holding penalty. He turns the ball over in the red zone. I feel like we could look up right now. We could have 30-something points. So we gotta get out of our own way, play detailed football, and just keep going at it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much.
The youngest head coach in FBS, Zach Kitley. His dad is the head track and field coach at Texas Tech and has won multiple national championships. He is a quarterback who is a coach's son, Caden Veldkamp. His dad is the strength coach at Western Kentucky. Has to be happy with a 10-point lead on the road here in Houston, and we'll see the FAU offense first. They get the ball to start this second half. Kickoff into the end zone for a touchback. Veldkamp, his numbers, LD's got 166 yards, 11 of 17, 2 touchdowns, that 1 interception.
Yeah, and, again, that was just, bad pass. He had a receiver open, just overthrew him, and, it is some self-inflicted wounds, but you got to give the guys on the other side credit, too, for playing some pretty good defense, and so I'm always fascinated by coaches when they come out of the halftime locker room. What adjustments can you obviously see right away? And we're going to get that first look here by FAU.
They hand it off to Terrell, goes blazing up the middle for a chunk of 11 yards and a first down to move the chains. Porter, the stopper.
That play kind of had a little bit of everything going in all kinds of directions. Here it is. You want to play quarterback, you better be able to spin around and not get dizzy.
Thought we were about to see the tornado reverse that BYU put on the map against Colorado. Terrell, this time he's submarined, no gain. It's 2nd down and 10. But that's, Zach Kitley told Smacker he feels like they could have 30-some points already at halftime. That's how he thinks. He is so ahead of the sport when it comes to offensive play calling, execution, everything else that goes with it.
And I love that, because if your coach thinks like that, eventually it's going to kind of feed over to your players. And then they start to think about that. And then they're not worried about, okay, am I supposed to be here in this spot? Oh, I better make this block. Do I take this step in the route? And all those things. They can play fast. They can play free, kind of like what their defense is doing.
On 2nd down and 9, the pocket stands up, and the pass is off the hands of his intended target. I believe that was Wasim. Sets up 3rd down and long. There's Veldkamp's numbers to this point, 11 for 18. 3 straight 300-yard games. First time an FAU quarterback has done that in 6 seasons since 2019.
You can see Rice showing blitz. They're simulating a kind of a blitz look here. Now, when he stops the play like that, he's making sure his receivers understand, hey, if I've got to go hot, you better be ready, because it looks like they're coming.
3rd and long. Out pattern. Messer. Did he get beyond the sticks? He's just short. They will give him the first down. They move the chains. It goes for 11 yards.
And I can't tell you how difficult a pass that is. Boy, they're going right off the bat again here. He absolutely had him on that play right there, James. That's the one that you kind of hold on to, because you're trying to save it for the right time in the game. And once you show it, you better capitalize on it. That time the pass sails on him again.
3rd and 1. FAU is 3 for 6 on 3rd downs. This is 3rd and short, and they'll run it up the middle with Terrell, and he has the first down, muscling his way forward for a gain of 2.
And see, Coach Kitley keeps that running game handy, and it's just like, hey, we've got this in our back pocket. We want to keep you honest with it. But all along, he's setting something up. And I love the fact that they run the ball, but they have play action off of it too, even when they go into 10 personnel, which is what they're in now. 4 wide receivers, 1 running back. They still can run the ball, but they like to be able to stretch this thing downfield, obviously.
An official's timeout with 12:31 to go in the third. We're just underway in the second half. This is the first drive. FAU with the football, 1st and 10. At the Rice 43. Flag comes in, false start against the Owls offense. And this will make it 1st and 15.
Yeah, that's that self-inflicted wounds Coach Kitley talked about. Yeah, you know, that's what he's talking about, the little things like that kind of put you, again, behind the chains. We talk so much about staying on schedule, but when you do that, now you're playing back to the strength of the defense because they can get exotic. Right, they can play you at a different types of fronts. They can show different types of pressures just to mentally get you a little bit off your game.
Snap throw to the outside, and Sands gets shoved out of bounds by Peyton Stevenson. No gain on the pitch and catch. It's 2nd down.
Yeah, here's what they want to do. They want to make sure the quarterback gets the ball out of his hands quickly because we can come up and make the tackle.
2nd and 15. They go back to Sands. Pinballs to the outside, then slips and goes down. Gain of 4. 3rd down.
Yeah, that's a pretty big gain because now you get it back to almost to where it's 3rd and 10, James, but you still a little bit, maybe 3rd and 10 and a half or so. But it's a big down and distance here for this Rice defense. I think they absolutely have to get off the field. And if you're FAU, if you can convert this, what a backbreaker it is because you started off negatively to start the drive.
They run the option. They pitch it out. Sands, shoulder down. Andrew Alway, a tackling machine at middle linebacker, a gain of 3. Zach Kitley loves to go for it on 4th down. They've already attempted 24 4th downs, but they will trot out the special teams unit and try and pin Rice deep and lean on that defense.
Yeah, and it probably is a few yards a little bit too long to even think about going for it. Yeah, there's that quarterback coaching talking, hey, what are you seeing out there? We've got to make better decisions. We got to be smart, and the penalty certainly didn't help that drive as well.
What a punt. Pins Rice inside their own 10-yard line. Logan Lupo, the 33-yarder. Timeout on the field. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN from Houston. Florida Atlantic leads Rice 17-7. Rice backed up inside their own 10-yard line from the shadows of their own end zone. 1st and 10. Turner in motion. Up the gut goes Jackson. Springing ahead for 3 yards, and it's 2nd down and 7. Tyler Stolsky, the stopper.
James, we're going to figure out, okay, what adjustments did they talk about at halftime for Rice offense? Are they going to get more exotic, maybe take to the next step, maybe open up this vertical passing game? You know, we talked to Coach Abel during the week. He said, hey, we got to get our triples going. And that means the outside perimeter, pitching the ball to the guys in the perimeter so we can attack this defense on the outside.
And Jenkins has not been able to find any rushing lanes. No gain on the play. Sets up 3rd down. Hart and Doggett collabing on the tackle.
Yeah, they've been tough. Hey, you got to give credit. All levels of this defense has come to play. And it starts with the guys up front. How many times do we see that? No matter what offense you play, the guys up front got to dominate. They've dominated. And the linebackers and secondary guys, James, have benefited and been able to make some outstanding defensive stops.
Jenkins looking to throw, spins it, coming back to the football. It is caught, and it's good enough for a 1st down. Rogers on the coverage. That was reeled in for a gain of 9 yards.
And that's a really good throw, a really good route, because he's on the sideline, and that sideline is another defender, so the timing has to be impeccable, and that just shows you this offense, when they need to make a pass play, they absolutely can convert it.
New set of downs. Jenkins, pitch, Turner darting out of bounds after a gain of 4. Run out by Williams.
Yeah, nice game. Nice game. That's what you want to do. You want to attack this defense when they don't get the edge set. You get it to the end man of the line of scrimmage, pitch off of him, and then your running back can get up that sideline for a couple more. Now, it wasn't a huge gain, but for this offense, if they can get those 3 or 4 yards at a time, it just sets them up for success.
On 2nd down and 7. Jenkins pulls it again. And Turner out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. No gain, run out by Williams. There is a flag on the play.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. They were getting a little bit chippy, kind of taking hits, taking liberties on the quarterback. And I've always wondered, James, maybe you feel the same way. They've got to separate Turner and Williams, but I always felt like option quarterbacks never got the benefit of roughing the passer because they're looked upon as runners, right? But that shouldn't be the case.
That's the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 3, defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Let's take another look.
Yeah, you got the little shoving going on, and it's always that last guy. That last guy is going to get caught 9 out of 10 times.
But to your point, I mean, Jenkins, he took a beating.
Yeah.
Against Navy and against Charlotte. Dual threat quarterback. He takes a lot of hits. Jackson up the middle, bounces off one would-be tackler, can't get away from the second. He does have a career high, 127 yards on the ground tonight, but nothing there, and it's 2nd and 10.
Is, man. You want to play college football, bang, that's what you got to deal with every single time. And Deshaun Batiste, he's another one of these guys up front that is just impossible to move at times.
2nd down and 10, rolling the pocket, Jenkins.
Good throw.
Throws a good ball. And Dickman on the receiving end, close to the marker, a gain of 9.
Yeah, you got to set this up, and it's all about your splits. If you know you're going to go to that sideline, you better give yourself some room and then go downhill, James, like he does there, so the quarterback has a lane and a spot to lead you to on that. You know, so many times these young receivers, when they run their routes, they flatten off. That's what it's on paper. That's what it looks like. But in actuality, you're going back towards the line of scrimmage as an angle.
Jackson up the middle, enough for the first down. And Rice moving the chains, venturing into FAU territory. Every time Jenkins has put it up, he's throwing lasers.
Yeah, it's accurate, right? I mean, it's on time. He feels confident about where he's going with the ball. But I love the fact that Coach Abel's moving him out of the pocket. He's not letting him sit back there being a sitting duck. And when you have an athletic quarterback like that, his natural instincts take over when his feet are involved.
Ran track and field in high school. He was a sprinter, the 100-meter, part of the 4x100 and 4x200 relay teams. Up the gut goes Alexander for just a yard. And that's the thing, on first down, Rice is only averaging just barely over 3 yards per first down play.
Yeah, and if you ask Coach Abel, you know, after game, hey, where would you like to have been? He'd probably say maybe 3.5, 4 yards on first down, obviously, to do that. But I think it's been effective. Is it getting predictable at times? I think so. But, again, there's a method to the madness, and I would never question Coach Abel and what he's trying to do, certainly.
10th play of the drive, pitch out. Dickman can't cut the corner, a gain of a yard, and it sets up a 3rd and long for the Rice Owls offense.
Yeah, this defense is good. There's secondary guys. When a play looks like, from our point of view, like it may have a chance, these secondary guys come out of nowhere and close the gap. We talked about Dylan Williams. You know, now we're seeing some of these other guys step up as well. It's been fun to watch because they are typically Jaden Sweeney, number 26. You talk about him a lot too, but they're so caught up in passing offenses. This is a tough week for them, but they've made the adjustment.
Jenkins out in front. Dickman, touchdown. 46 yards. And Rice has cut into the deficit.
What a perfect pass here by Jenkins. And this is where Jaden Sweeney's aggressiveness gets in trouble, because he takes too flat of an angle, James, and he didn't anticipate Dickman continuing going vertical, and the timing and the passes there is arguably the best of the night for the Rice Owls. And just like that, they hang around and they can cut this game to a one-score game.
Longest touchdown pass of the season for the Owls.
You play option football, defensively you better be disciplined, because they can raise up and hit the big one anytime. Dickman for the TD there. Rice Owls right back in this thing.
playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the national championship January 19th on ESPN.
Longest pass of the season for Rice and the longest reception
kickoff
for Dickman in his career here in Houston. And all of a sudden, it's a field goal difference. Florida Atlantic 17, Rice 14. Remember, that drive started at the 10-yard line. 90 yards, 11 plays, 5:39.
And that's kind of the prototypical drive that they want to have every single time they touch the ball if they can help it. And you saw a little bit of, hey, they opened it up, and they opened it up by attacking, passing the ball, getting their quarterback out on the perimeter. And once they did that, it got these defensive backs to suck in just a little bit, and then they were able to go over the top with Dickman.
Ensuing kick into the end zone for a touchback. We'll take another timeout. Less than 5 to play here in the third. Florida Atlantic, their offense, looking for a rebuttal. Some iconic moments tie this Rice Stadium to both sports and American history. How about JFK, 1962, we choose to go to the moon. That speech right here in this venue, promising a moon landing before 1970. It happened here at Rice Stadium in Houston.
Perfect timing with the full moon tonight. You know, it's pretty symbiotic right there, man.
We landed on the moon.
I said you, I'm so nice.
Florida Atlantic leads by 3. 1st and 10. Terrell cuts it back and runs right into traffic. Gain of just a yard, 2nd down and 9. What's the approach here on this drive if you're Zach Kitley and FAU calling the plays?
I almost think they need to just slow it down. I think if they can get to maybe committing just a little bit more to running the ball and take a little bit off Beltkamp's plate a little bit.
On the outside, nice form tackle. Marcus Williams, the stopper for Rice. It's a loss of a yard.
Because this offense, James, has already shown the things that can hurt this defense, and you haven't really seen it again. It's been a couple of big plays, but credit the staff of Rice to make those adjustments and now force this offense to have to dink and dunk. And look where we are now, 3rd and 10. They have not been good tonight on 3rd and long situations.
4 for 8 on 3rd downs tonight.
Boy, look at this look here. It's a lot of a pressure look. And the timeout there.
Timeout. Florida Atlantic, the first of the half. 30 seconds.
I've always been impressed the way defensive coordinator John Kay, you know, the way he gets his guys, one, to buy in to what they're trying to do, but he can change the looks up at times, and that was a look there at this team offensively said, okay, let's talk about this because it's a man across the board look with the simulated pressure. Let's make sure we can block these guys up front first. Let's talk about it now.
The Rice coaches told us that their keys for the defense, 3rd down execution, tackling in space. They knew the secondary would have to have a big night. This is a 3rd and long situation.
And I really think the defense has done that. I think they've tackled pretty well. You take a couple of the bus assignments, and credit to the offense, they schemed up a couple of big plays. It's been a pretty good night defensively for the Rice Owls.
On 3rd and 9, Veldkamp has a man open. Down the sideline. Ushered out of bounds at the 30. Assad Wasim having his best game of the season. That's good for 55 yards.
And this is just the genius of Coach Kitley. He knew this defense was probably going to stay in man, so he has a rub route at the top, and it's deep. And then that allowed Wasim to cut across the middle of the defense, and that's the big gain there.
Handoff Terrell with some tempo, plowing ahead for a gain of 3, taking it down to the Rice 27-yard line.
And it's kind of like, you know, in basketball where coaches call a timeout because they want to see the defensive alignment. Well, that's what Coach Kitley did on that last play. He says, okay, they're going to do this. Okay, let's run this play because this is going to free up our guy right in the face of the quarterback. One of the easiest throw that any quarterback can catch.
Veldkamp is over 220 now on the night passing. Stacked wideouts left and right. Terrell looking for the edge, shoved out of bounds. They pile him up after no gain.
Oh boy, you got a late flag coming in there at the end of that play, James.
A line change for the Rice defense. It happened on the FAU sideline right in front of their coaching staff.
I really didn't think it was malicious. I thought it might have been close to unnecessary roughness on that sideline of FAU, but I didn't think it was malicious.
That's supposed to be like conduct. Number 8. This is the number 8 offense.
Well, both ways here.
15-yard penalty. Correction. Number 8 defense. That's his first. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Little confusion.
Joseph Mutombo, you know, when he adjusted, I thought it might have been offsetting penalties, but keep your eye on Mutombo. He's the one kind of chomping back at the officials, and I guess the officials had enough, and then you got there something happening against Blake Wyatt. Nonetheless, it benefits FAU here.
Chaotic sequence. 1st and 10 after the penalty, half the distance to the goal. Shedding tackles inside the 5-yard line, shields Dutton. A chunk of 12 on the quick hitter.
Yeah, they've been determined to get to the outside of this defense. It's not blocked particularly great because you see the penetration there, but then just a good heads-up bounce to the outside by Shields Dutton. And he gets inside the 5, and they've got a 1st and goal here.
This is the counter to the 90-yard, 11-play, 5-minute Rice drive moments ago. Off the hands of the wide receiver. A simple misfire. Easton Messer can't bring it in.
He catches that, he walks in. And that's unfortunately on the quarterback. Quarterback's got to just put him a ball on his chest. You don't have to lead him too far here. I know what he's trying to do, but I think he just walks in that end zone if he can get a ball there.
Second down and goal. Some window dressing. They pop it out in the flat for a touchdown. Second tight end touchdown of the night for Michael Kirch. And Florida Atlantic answers the Rice touchdown.
That's a big boy response there by FAU. And how about that 3rd and 10 to get them set up first and foremost, and then they go to work once they get down here. A lot of action going on. You've got guards pulling, you've got play action the other way. All the while, Kirk, your tight end, slips underneath the defense into the flat. Beautiful play design there, James.
And the point after is perfect. Let's go back to that score.
Yeah,
poetry in motion.
Yeah, see, you're back here, pretend you're the safety. What do you key on when you see all these bodies crossing, you see the quarterback turning one way, and then he flips it out the back door? That is very, very difficult to defend, especially when the field is condensed. And it benefits the offense certainly having an advantage there.
Florida Atlantic back on top by 10, 24-14. That was an 8-play, 76-yard scoring drive, just under 3 minutes. $1:50 left here in the third session.
Well, I think you saw a team that kind of grew up right there. They're responding there. There's the plays. 8:76, 2:54. Good response.
FAU is 1-3 on the season. They've played a tough schedule.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, anytime you have Memphis on your schedule, you've got Maryland to start the year, and then FIU, they've improved certainly, and that's always a nice little rivalry game in the state of Florida between those two programs. By the way, this American Conference is kind of tough. When you think about it, all the teams that are in this conference, you got some teams making a case that, hey, we need to be considered for a team in the playoffs, and how exciting is that?
Very much so. When you look at what Memphis has done, when you look at North Texas and their 5-0 start, the American has a better record against Power 4 opponents than the ACC. Here's some scores from around the league. South Florida, 54-26 over Charlotte. What a story they've already had to their season. Army thumps UAB. You watched this one, Navy and Air Force. What a thriller that was.
Man, it might have been the best football game of the day. I mean, they were throwing haymakers. I said throwing haymakers because they passed the ball all over the yard. Both of those schools did, and fun to watch. And this is where Rice certainly want to get to that next level with Air Force and Navy, the way they do their offense as well.
Over 300 passing yards by Navy in that game.
It was insane.
It's a foreign concept.
I know. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch.
5-yard gain here sets up second down and 5.
Boy, that's a nice gash on first down. Now you might start thinking the defense is kind of losing a little bit of their pop, getting tired. You're getting them out to that deep water, so to speak, and so now you're starting to see these first down gains be a little bit bigger.
Between the tackles, listen to all the collisions. A battering ram and a gain of 3 yards.
Now you better buckle your chin strap, and it's getting chippy. I mean, now you're getting to where these defensive guys are having something to say after every single pop that they make. Williams is leading the charge on that. But you got to give it back to them, right? If you're offense, you can't sit there and let them mouth you. You just need to come back, line up, and hit them back. Give them the business, too.
That was the 40th rushing play of the night for Rice. We're still in the third quarter. They slice left. Do they have enough for the first down? Yes. Moving the chains after a gain of a yard. It's 1st and 10 for the Rice Owls. And FAU has a couple of players down.
Yeah, hard to tell who that is.
Rolling on the
It looks
field
like a
is a first
single-digit
down.
number.
The play is under further review.
(24-14), Florida Atlantic leads by 10. And FAU this season has really struggled in the third quarter. They've been outscored 41-3 in this third frame. But tonight, 7-7. Just magnifies the importance of that last scoring drive for FAU.
Yeah, good to see Leon Hart Jr. get up. He's one of the highlighted players in this defense for sure. So we can tell what happens here. Yeah, he's standing up behind the pile, so it wasn't a contact injury. You know, it's a hot, muggy night still. You know, we said at the beginning of the broadcast, 85 degrees, probably still 85 here at night. Yeah, 80 degrees. So it's still humid. I mean, you got to understand, we're in Houston, Texas. Even though it's October, and I know it's humid in Florida, but it could be a situation he caught maybe a little baby cramp there.
And when he hit the deck, that was my first thought initially. He's had a huge game, by the way. 8 tackles, 2 tackles for loss.
Yeah, he's a beast. He is a beast, and they've got a beast at every level of the defense. And you know, when you look at it and you think, okay, what is going on? Okay, they give up 36.5 points a game. How could that be? But you got to look at the opponent.
After further review, the rolling on the field is upheld. First down.
We're checking the spot, the placement. It's a first down. The play is upheld. And to your point, they were in that Memphis game. Yeah, deep into the fourth quarter. That final score is very, very misleading. And the defense was holding their own. And then after a 4th down attempt by the offense, they went for it 4th and 8 inside their own 30, didn't get it. And all hell broke loose, for lack of a better term.
Coach, what did he tell us? Coach Kelly said, hey, we had a bad last 8 minutes of the game. Other than that, we're right in that ball game.
Up the gut. This is another hard run. A 10-yard gain and a first down for DeAndre Hardman. He's a freshman, a local kid from here in Houston. That will send us to the fourth quarter. Trading touchdowns here in the third. Florida Atlantic 24, Rice 14. The fourth quarter's coming up next. We've got a good one here in Houston. Alongside LaDarren McClain, I'm James Westling. Smacker Miles on the sidelines. We head to the fourth and final quarter. Florida Atlantic leading Rice 24-14. Each team tacked on a touchdown there in the third. And Florida Atlantic, the defense gives up 4 yards to Rice into the teeth of that FAU defense to move the chains. It's a first down run.
And I like what Coach Abel has done by bringing Hardiman in the game. A more bigger physical back. Now credit Quentin Jackson, he's kind of had to get him there. He's had the tough yards. Now you bring this bruiser in the game and take advantage of a tired defense.
Pitch it out to Turner, and he gets popped pretty good after a gain of 2. But Rice in that third quarter picked up all 4 of their third down attempts. In fact, these teams combined went 7 for 8 on third downs.
And much improved by both these teams. That was one of the things coming in that they had to be good at. I know one thing they've been good at tonight is doing that on defense. And 44, Tyler Stolsky, doing a great job getting to the point of contact and letting the ball carrier know he's there.
Second down and 7. Hardman looking for a lane. Pushing the pile. Muscling ahead. A gain of 2. Third and 5.
Yeah, you got to think too, James. Harden's got fresh legs. You know, he's still fresh in this game. This defense has been out there a lot of plays, a lot of run defense. That will wear on you. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of condition you're in.
Hardman is 5'8", 200. There's a bowling ball. Third and medium. Jenkins fakes it, keeps it himself, looking for a kick-out block. A flag is out late on the play. He has the first down.
That's going to be unfortunate there. Anytime that
6, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
If the umpire and the referee both throw their flags, more times not to hold on the offense.
It's the right guard, John Long, making his 20th career start tonight.
You know, we give credit to some of these running backs making the adjustment. How about some of these offensive linemen adjusting to this style of offense that Coach Abel wants to do? I think they've done a great job. I think they are tailored fit for this. You know, they're big guys, but they're athletic enough that they can get out and move, and you know, that's what you got to do. These offensive linemen have to be flexible and move across the board.
Third and long, and Jenkins bombs it over the middle into triple coverage. It's knocked away by Keys. Walker, the intended target, and the Florida Atlantic defense gets off the field.
And I'm just trying to take a shot here. It's a lot of FAU Owls in coverage, and Keys is the closest guy there to make the play. Yeah, good coverage there. I know they were trying to hit that big one up the seam. Just quite wasn't there. Good coverage on the back end by FAU.
4th and 16. Marquetta on to blast it away. Messer out of bounds at the 15. We'll take a timeout. Florida Atlantic trying to stretch their lead when we come back, leading by 10 on the road. 24-14, FAU leads Rice here in this American Showdown. Elsewhere, let's take a look at the top 10. Ohio State, they've scored 21 unanswered, pulling away from Minnesota. Miami leading Florida State in Tallahassee 14-3. Texas A&M in a dogfight with Mississippi State. But how about Penn State and Texas both going down to unranked opponents?
And that UCLA game, I watched the beginning of that. They came out and took it to the Nittany Lions from the beginning. I mean, it was no let up at all in that game. It was impressive with an interim coach, by the way. Hats off to the Bruins.
Messer out of bounds after a gain of 3. It's second down and 7.
Yeah, this is where, again, you've got a 10-point lead, and with the style of offense that they like to do, you're kind of in that position where we don't want to slow the game down because that's just not really us. We still got to do what we need to do offensively, but what you can do is slow down your pace, right? You can get in and out of the huddle with just a little bit less sense of urgency.
Up the middle, a hard tackle after a gain of 10 yards and a first down run from Xavier Terrell. Stevenson grabbed him up high and brought him down.
Yeah, good blocking by the offensive line. Watch the point of contact. And Banish right there, 75 on defense. He's the head of the snake. And if you can control him, James, that'll allow some of these other offensive linemen to get to the next level and maybe put a block on those linebackers. They did it there. And that's one of those things that this offense has to get to. Control the line of scrimmage. We can beat teams running the football also.
Play fake. That ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage. It flutters incomplete, and it sets up second down and 10.
Yeah, that's one of the plays they started the game off with. On that initial drive, hitting that little play action pass, you show it, and then you throw the slant in behind those linebackers that stepped up. But you mentioned tipped at the line of scrimmage. But it's an incompletion. It stops the clock. That's the only thing about that is you stop the clock when you are really trying to be true to your identity.
Veldkamp on the outside, screen play to Messer, weaving his way ahead. Goes for 6 and sets up a manageable third down. FAU tonight is 5 for 9 in this spot.
You definitely like this situation here, third and I wouldn't even call it medium. I would say this is third and short, in my opinion.
Veldkamp to the boundary, and Messer, who's over 100 yards, hauls in his 11th pass tonight.
He's really good. I like the fact that they move him all across the formation. He can line up outside too, but he does most of his damage is when he's in that slot side, really either side if he's the slot receiver. And then that cushion allows him to either press it up, break it out, go deep, cross the middle. He can run any route in the route tree, and the timing between the quarterback and receiver there was on point.
There's still 10 and a half minutes left, and he's only 4 catches away from tying the program record, which he did earlier this year against Maryland. On the outside, they spin it to Platt. Platt has 8 more for FAU.
Just taking what the defense is giving you, and if they're allowing that 5-yard hitch, raise up and throw it every time. Because we feel like at some point in time, our guy is going to make a defender miss. Here it is. Just throw the hitch. You run that play in high school. But if you have a guy on the outside that can make it like Platt, can make a guy miss, that turns into a short gain into a bigger gain.
Veldkamp at 250 yards passing for the night. Trying to extend his streak of 300-yard games, which currently sits at 3. A gain of a yard, 3rd and 1 upcoming for FAU.
Well, that time Banish wins. Big 75. He won that battle. And that's the difference of a nice big chunk of yardage by the offense, or you get stalemated at the line of scrimmage. And Banish, what about a stalwart in this defense for years? He has been here through all of this. and he continues to play at the same level year in and year out.
Florida Atlantic forced to call a timeout deep in the play clock.
Timeout.
8:54 to go.
Florida Atlantic.
And looking at 3rd and 1
Second
from
of the half.
midfield.
Timeout
We'll
on
take
the
it with
field.
them. FAU trying to put this game on ice, leading by 10 and on the move. Here's our game summary midway through the 4th quarter. Quick hitter from Rice, but really the big plays for Rice offensively came early. Caden Veldkamp, over 250 yards passing, the FAU quarterback in this one.
And that arguably right there was the best pass of the night for Jenkins. And how about FAU responding right away? And that's how a lot of coaches can find out what kind of team they have, is how do you respond when somebody hits you back in the mouth? Do you go and crawl away, or do you answer? And it looks like the FAU Owls did that.
They toss it out to Terrell, and he did not get there. Blake Banish making the tackle, big number 75 for the Owls defense. It's 4th and 1 in the FAU offense. They are not going anywhere. They'll go for it here.
Yeah, so much of this defense is based off of what Banish can get accomplished at the point of contact with the center. And so right now you've seen in consecutive plays that Banish has won, and his teammates behind him have come and cleaned it up.
FAU goes for it a lot, 11 for 24 on the season. This is their first tonight, and wide open Kirsch, the tight end. His 3rd big reception tonight, the first 2 for touchdowns, and this for a huge 4th down conversion.
Yeah, that is a beautiful play call. Watch the quarterback sell it. You just ride him just a little bit. And it's almost one of those plays to where it's too wide open to make the completion, but you just got to give your guy a chance to make a play. Veldkamp did it there. Kirch did the rest.
Went for 40 yards. An injured Rice player on the next play, down around the 15-yard line.
What a play call, too. 4th and 1. You got a
Injury
defense
timeout for
selling
Rice.
out.
The player went down after the ball was set.
See which Rice Owl that
First
is.
short timeout. Timeout on the field.
We'll take the injury timeout with just over 8 to play from Houston. All right, keep an eye on number 12 in the Navy uniform. Crump, the defensive back, tapping his head, saying, I need a break, I need a sub. Look at the coach in the lower right-hand part of your screen around the 20-yard line telling him to go down at the 15-yard line. A new rule implemented in college football. If a team is faking an injury after the ball is spotted, there's a penalty, and the penalty is that you lose a timeout. Rice went ahead and called the timeout, so they didn't lose it. They had to burn one, though, that maybe other... It's complete. It's a loss of a yard. And with just less than 8 minutes to go in the game, FAU leading by 10. And they are looking at second down and goal from around the 11-yard line.
Well, I think Rice absolutely has to force a field goal attempt here. You cannot allow FAU to get into the end zone. That puts this game way, way out there for this offense to try to chip away at it. You can keep it 2 scores. That's one thing.
Veldkamp, run play. To the 7-yard line. 3-yard pickup for Caden Shields Dutton. 3rd and goal.
Yeah, Tony Iowinu, he is kind of quietly having a nice defensive game tonight. And he is one of these guys that is the rush linebacker in this defense. They asked those guys to do quite a bit. But he's been doing very, very well in run defense, kind of keeping that under control.
3rd and goal from the 7. Less than 7 minutes to play. Run play, looking for the corner. Hot pursuit and a hard hit at the 8-yard line. No gain, maybe lost a yard. The big guys in the middle for Rice. Tony Ayenwinyu and Chibi Nuajuaku for Rice. Combined on the tackle. 4th and goal, FAU's going to attempt a field goal.
That's exactly what they needed to do. They needed to force this field goal attempt. Credit to the defense to get them to this point.
26-yard chip shot field goal. And it's through. 27-14, Florida Atlantic. They pushed their lead to 13, but to your point, LD, it's still a 2-score game.
Yeah, but now the game is shrunk down, and that does not play favor to Rice offensively because their game is all about time. And when they're behind, now it forces them at some point in time, the rest of this game, James, to do something uncharacteristic, right? And that typically is pass more times than they want to. And so let's keep an eye on that. But it's all going to be predicated on how this drive ends up, right? If they can get momentum going, maybe get some big chunk plays, they might be able to do something here.
For FAU, their unsung hero has been their 3rd-string tight end, Michael Kirch, has had a career night with 3 grabs and 2 touchdowns.
You know what? You just need those tight ends that have the physical tools. He's 6'6", 245, but he has great feet. We know he has great hands. And then the instincts, right? Knowing where he needs to be in the play, showing yourself to the quarterback, and giving your guy a chance to make a throw to you. And oh, by the way, he's a good run blocker too because they do run the ball as well. It's a great tight end. He's a good one and only going to get better for sure.
Originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. So Rice down by 13, 6:03 on the clock. They've got most of their passing yards tonight from one big play, a 46-yard touchdown from Jenkins to Dickman. Jenkins had less than 40 yards all game before that throw.
You can see FAU defensively, the communication has been outstanding the entire game tonight.
Turner can't turn upfield to the 30-yard line. He did get 5.
Good drive starter there. That's what you want. You want that big chunk if you can. Sets him up second and pretty reasonable here. Gotta empty the backfield for the first time tonight.
5 wide for Jenkins. Pressure. Tosses to Walker, shoved out of bounds. There is a late flag that comes in after a 2-yard pickup.
It's got to be roughing the passer. It's got to be. They have been beating Jenkins up.
Roughing the passer, number 96, defense.
Yeah.
15-yard
Josh
penalty.
Roberts there,
First
big number
down.
96. Yeah, Josh Roberts gets caught on this, but I think they could have called this in the first quarter because they've been taking liberties and running at the quarterback for sure. And credit to Jenkins to bounce right back up.
Known as a runner in this system, but he is a very capable passer, over 3,000 yards in high school. From the Houston area, from Katy, Texas, Leaf Taylor High School, redshirt sophomore. But there has to be a sense of urgency for Rice on this drive with 5.5 to play.
Yeah, and again, that's what they've got to change up. It's the uncharacteristic thing from here on out pretty much as you get under 5.5 minutes in the game.
Jenkins rolls the pocket, slings it to Turner. High stepping out of bounds, a gain of 9 yards on first down.
That's a real nice high percentage pass to one of your more explosive players on offense, James. That's what you got to do. And that's what a spread offensive passing team would typically do. They would try to attack the flats, get into one of their best players in open field.
Turner in motion, jet sweep action, gets a block. He's chopped down at the 40 after he picks up 3 yards, good enough to move the chains and give Rice another first down. McGee and Stolsky combined on the tackle.
Well, you got 2 timeouts remaining, and then you're going to have the 2-minute warning as well. And then the game will stop on first downs. And so still plenty of time, but they got to go.
Jenkins pops it to Turner. Turner finding some running room. Inside the 15. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Chris Tooley III got beat on the play. It's a gain of 32.
And I've always felt that Turner's one of their better weapons, that they just got to find ways to get him more involved in the offense. And you're seeing it here on this drive.
Jenkins splits the defense. Jenkins tattooed at the 2-yard line by Leon Hart. Punishing the quarterback time and time again tonight.
If we had a tough medal honor award in this game, I'm giving it to Chase Jenkins. Watch this. Great play here. You isolate the end man. He didn't know where you were going, but that right there, you get my respect right there, because I've had those hits on me before, and I'm still feeling some of them 20-something years later. I'm telling you, that is no joke, man.
That is a tough kid.
Yeah, he's tough as nails, man. But this defense, you got to love it. You got to love it. They come from all angles. All 11 players on defense are trying to run through you. And so you got to give these guys credit. You know, Brett Dewhurst, the defensive coordinator, outstanding job by him and his defensive coaches to get these guys playing at a high level today and be physical still. You hope Keys is going to be all right. They're talking to him, so you hope he can get up on his own power here.
Transfer from Mississippi State, was at Indiana before that. 3-star recruit out of high school.
Good to see him walk off. But James, if Rice can get in the end zone, okay, now you've answered. Still got plenty of time. Pressure back on FAU now. Can they close out a game? They hadn't had many opportunities to close out a win this year. So that pressure goes back the other way. So this is a big moment in the game for sure, if the Rice Owls can cap this thing off.
And FAU, remember, fresh off a gut-wrenching loss, just the way that game went down in the fourth quarter to Memphis. Maybe that's in the back of their minds. 4 minutes on the nose to play, and Rice is setting up 2nd down and goal from the 2-yard line.
Yeah, you start second-guessing yourself because you're saying, dang, how hard can we play? And yet these guys are still hanging around. We haven't been able to put them away. You basically have 3 tight ends on the field for Rice. So we're just going to call this their jumbo formation with 3 tight ends. You only have 1 running back and 1 wide receiver, which is Turner at the top of the screen.
2nd and goal from the 2. Jackson stonewalled up front. And it's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, good play there by Wilkie Denard, number 2. He's the one going crazy. Here it is. You got to get that pad level low down here. And this is big boy territory. And Wilkie Denard is certainly there at the point of contact. And then you got the secondary men coming in as well.
3rd and goal. Jenkins keeps it, slices into the end zone. Touchdown, Rice. From 2 yards away. And Rice is back within striking distance with 3:19 to play.
Yeah, great decision here. Mesh point with the running back. You got to cut off that linebacker, but you got to be fearless cutting back against the grain. We know he's tough, but he's also smart as a whip too. And that time right there, making the best play possible down around the goal line.
The point after is through. It cuts it to a 6-point game with 3:19 left. What a finish here in Houston.
Yeah, watch it here. You see number 44, Stolsky. He gets out of position. He's a little bit off balance to make that play. Here it is. He's got to make it, right? And he gets a little bit of a juke there by Jenkins to cut back in the middle of the grain. Boy, nice play there by QB1.
Jenkins has accounted for 2 Rice touchdowns tonight. Coach Abel was telling us that basically with his offensive system, it's so new, it's so different for these players that regardless of eligibility or whatever their eligibility clock looks like, they're all freshmen in some ways.
Yeah, and I think that creates a little bit of excitement on the football team because now you got a new challenge, right? You get a restart, so to speak, offensively and defensively to some point. And that's the one thing that, Coach Abel has said in the past, that he wanted to keep the one side of the ball consistent was the defense, right? Keeping a lot of those players, some of those coaches as well, keep them on that side because we've got a bigger learning curve offensively. Right now, they're kind of shortening that thing. I know it's only the 5th game so far, or 6th game, I should say, and they've done a great job.
Squib kick right down the middle, bouncing into the hands of Messer. He goes down on his own back at the 18. Rice has 2 timeouts. They still have the 2-minute timeout, which will hit with 3:17 to go in just a bit. There's plenty of time for Rice to get the football back. Florida Atlantic trying to string together a couple of first downs to get out of here with a win.
Yeah, this is new charted territory for Coach Kittley, Coach Kittley and his staff. Okay, how do we close this thing out? And I really think it starts with the guys in your screen. I really think you lean on this offensive line and say, get us home, guys, because we need to run the ball and force Rice to burn those 2 timeouts so we can get out of here.
Veldkamp into traffic on the left side. No gain. 2nd down and 10.
And Coach Abel's going to hold on to those timeouts as long as he possibly can.
Veldkamp tonight approaching 300 yards passing, which would keep his streak alive. 3 straight 300-yard games, 3 touchdowns, just 1 interception.
He'll pick up yards here. He may have to put it up in the air on the next play if they don't get anything positive here on 2nd and 10.
They'll run it. Stuffed after a gain of just a yard. Alway, the stopper, 3rd and 9. Rice burns one of their timeouts.
They're 2nd of the half.
They have 1
30
left.
seconds.
They still have the 2-minute timeout. There's 2:32 to play.
Boy, this is getting really, really juicy now. And if, Coach Kittley now as a play caller, you got to go to one of your best, safest plays. Now, if you pass it and it's an incomplete, well, that's the last thing you want to have happen, right? You want to get something to where you get your guy in space. If it's a pass, it's got to be a high percentage, almost like a long handoff type play. And that way you keep the clock running a little bit. Even if you don't get the first down, you still force Rice to have to burn another timeout.
And FAU with a chance to try and establish some momentum here in October because they're back at home next Saturday against UAB. And they play South Florida, big rivalry showdown there. They're at Navy, who runs this same type of offense. Tulsa at home and then at Tulane their next 5. 3rd down and 8. Veldkamp, quarterback draw. Veldkamp stretches, and he has the first down. Guts from the quarterback, a gain of 10.
What a play call by Coach Kittley. It's the best of both worlds. Because now they're thinking defensively, they're passing. Nope, we're going to run the ball with our big 6'6", 236-pound quarterback. And that's like a fullback out in the open field, and he gets the first down. That's a huge, huge play here by FAU.
The 2-minute timeout is here. Rice is down to 1 timeout, and Florida Atlantic clinging to a lead. FAU has scored in every quarter tonight. They lead 27-21. They've churned out almost 400 yards of total offense. Meanwhile, Rice tried to put forth a come-from-behind rally. But down by 6 with 2 minutes to go. 1st and 10, FAU. Trying to put this game away. Run play, that might do it if it's a first. It's close. Out to the 39-yard line. They will give him about 7 or 8 yards. And Rice will burn their final timeout with 1:49 to play. Here's the upcoming schedule for Rice. They are at UTSA next Saturday. Then a sneaky UConn team comes here to Houston. Memphis at home, UAB and North Texas on deck after that.
That's a tough 5-game stretch. I mean, that is, you know, there's no let up in any part of that schedule. Every one of those games are as highly difficult as you can get in the American, for sure. How about FAU going back to the well, James? They ran back to that left side. When they absolutely need a yard or more, they go right behind Scarlett Jean and Jacavian Nonar, and they absolutely got to have it. And they did a good job of that there, almost picking up the first down. Now, where they marked, they're going to be about 2 yards short of the first down. I would not be shocked if they run to that side one more time.
Left tackle is Jacavian Nonar, a transfer from Maryland. Most talented offensive lineman, sky-high potential. Put on a bunch of weight. He was a tight end last year at 280 pounds. Pinballing off the initial hit to the 40-yard line. 8 of a yard for the running back. Terrell Porter making the tackle. It's 3rd and 1.
Yeah, the point of contact certainly better there by the Rice defense and made it a little bit tough. Coach Kinley taking my time. I might even tell my quarterback, hey, when the play clock gets to about 3 or 4, yeah, go ahead and snap it. We want to use every single second of this clock as we possibly can, and if they pick this first down up, that's probably the game.
3rd and 1. Veldkamp on the quarterback draw. Lunging forward. Has the first down, and that will do it. With just over a minute to go, Florida Atlantic can run out the clock.
Yeah, how about that? The excitement there. IFAU. Certainly deservedly so, man. I thought they had a great game plan. It is tough to come on into the road at anywhere in the college football, in my opinion, and then defensively play up against an offensive unit that you're just not accustomed to, and it's not something that you see every single week. And Coach Kitley calling what I thought at times was a masterful job of play calling when he absolutely needed it. That's a great game.
First time Zach Kitley has been a head coach, and you've seen the growth. They get blown out at Maryland. They bounce back against Florida A&M. They lose a tough one to FIU. Then they have a bye, and then they play toe-to-toe with Memphis for 50 of the 60 minutes. Have a disastrous 8-minute stretch to end the game. And then they come on the road here, and they beat Rice in their own house, 27-21, leaning on their defense and their discipline, which had hampered them the first 4 games.
And I really think that physical style is going to carry over. And if you're not ready for how they play football at FAU, you better get ready, because buckle your chin strap, make sure your shoulder pads are tight and good, because this defense is coming to hit you and run through you. And that set the tone. And this young man right here, Veldkamp, yeah, he's easily one of, if not the best quarterback, I think, in the American Conference. And so he's only going to get better as he starts to submerge himself in this offense for sure, James.
He's definitely in the conversation. Veldkamp finishes with 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. He completed 70% of his passes tonight. And then in the closing seconds, he did it with his legs. Caden Veldkamp, the quarterback of this FAU offensive attack.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for Rice's honor.
And he's with our Smacker Miles.
Caden, you led most of the game. How did you and the offense step up early to control the game?
Yeah, it was good to score early. We came out in the 3rd quarter and scored our first touchdown of the year in the 3rd quarter. So, that was good. The defense played their ass off, too. All credit to those guys.
What does it mean to go on the road, get a conference win?
It's big time to get our first one, get Coach Kitley's first conference win. It's big time for the program. We're 1-1 now in the conference, and now we're on to UAB.
You step up as a leader, getting those 2 scrambling first downs to put it away. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. The offensive line did a great job. There was creases. All I had to do was run.
Thanks, Caden.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
What a game from Caden Veldkamp. And how about that? Zach Kitley gets his first conference win. He does it on the road. A major momentum builder for the program. For LaDarren McClain and Smacker Miles, I'm James Westling saying so long from Houston, Texas. FAU wins it 27-21 over Rice. A reminder that all games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.